Hello, everybody. I see there's already a lot of questions, so I'm just going to first introduce myself and my daughter, and then I'll check the questions and kind of go over with you what we're going to do today and the format a little bit. So I'm Bridgette. That's why it's called Baking with Bridgette. And this is my daughter, Amelie. She goes to the Delphian school, but because we're doing distant learning here at our home, she is working and studying from home. And so that's why we're doing the webinar here in my house. So a little different than probably most of the webinars you've been watching. And I hope it goes well. So the way I am going to do this webinar is we're going to go over part of a baking course that Heron put together, and we use it at the school. I'll give you opportunities after we go over some of the slides to answer questions from you. And I see there's already a lot of questions, so I'm going to quickly jump on, take a look at the questions in case there's something really important that we need to go over, and then we're going to get going. I'm excited. Okay, are you excited, Oms?
Yep.
Okay, all right, let me look. Okay, hi, lots of highs. What do we need? Okay, I think everybody probably can see us now. Let me know if you can't see me, but I think everybody should be able to see me now. Waiting to see if there's any response, but if you're able to. Okay, hopefully we're good here, guys. Let's see. Great, awesome, okay. Yay, all right, let's do this. So I'm gonna share the screen now and we're going to start with the baking webinar.
Yay!
Okay, so baking, part 1 of 3. Yes, that's what we're doing, let's do it. What is baking? Okay, that's a good question. Baking means you cook with constant heat. Okay, so constant heat. That means you're not frying with a frying pan at your cooktop. You're not barbecuing something, because that's not a constant heat. That kind of goes up and down. And in an oven, it's enclosed and it stays constant. The temperature stays constant. You can bake many things, right? You can bake bread, cookies. Why don't you go get the bread that we made so we can show that? We made some bread last week. Cookies, cake, you can bake meat, you can bake potatoes, apples, all sorts of things. And here's, yeah, can you see? Here's our bread. We made that bread. We've already eaten some of it because it was really good. All right, good. Usually food is baked in an oven. Most homes have a stove with an oven in it, and then the oven in the stove gives heat for baking. The food you want to bake is put in a pan or on a tray, and then you put it inside the oven on one of the racks. When the oven knob is turned, the oven heats up, and the heat from the oven bakes the food. Some ovens have a drawer in the bottom where pots and pans can be kept. We don't have that. We don't have that, right? No. Our ovens are built, and I'll show you in a second when she goes and does a step with you guys. They're in the wall, and so there isn't really a drawer at the bottom to put pots and pans. And then some ovens just sit right on the floor, right? And like I said, mine was built into the wall. So that's an oven. So now we're gonna do this step together. I want you to go to your kitchen and find the oven knob. We're gonna do that in our kitchen, and obviously, you don't have to put this into the question thing if you don't want to, but ovens nowadays, probably many don't have knobs. Some might be like buttons or digital buttons. That's how ours is. We're gonna go over there right now and you can see. So here we are over at ours, right? And you can see, why don't you put it on me for a second? Put it on bake. You can see it turns on like that. We don't have any kind of knob for it. So go ahead and do that, and then turn on your oven or find the knob for turning it on, and then tell me in the Q&A, like, what do you have? Do you have an oven knob? Do you have a digital? What do you have? I'm gonna check. Okay, button, nice. And oh, nice, Mina, you made bread with your mom, that's awesome. Ovens in the wall, okay, cool, great. Button, okay, nice. Digital, yep. Knobs, knob, okay, awesome. We have a button, digital, digital. Okay, nice. So I'd say that there's probably, okay, knob, we have a knob, awesome. Okay, probably it looks like
a lot of a knob.
It looks to me like there's almost the same amount of digital and knobs. So that's okay, good to know. All right, great. Now, if you remember when you registered for the webinar, I asked you to have a pencil and a pen or marker and a piece of paper, because the next step is I want you to draw a picture of some things you'd like to bake. You can see those are some of the things I like to bake. You saw that we just made some bread. We have a cupcake that we also like to make. We just made some. We made muffins. We made muffins, and we've made cake recently. Who doesn't like to make cake, right? So draw some pictures of what you like to bake, and send it to. I can't see it right now. I'd love to be able to, but I can't see it right now. So just email it to events@delphian.org, and maybe in the subject put baking webinar or baking class, and they'll forward them to me so I can see them for the next time around in our next webinar next week, and I'd love to see them before that. So I'll give you a minute or two to do that. Oms is going to go ahead and also draw something, and I'll answer some questions while you're doing that. Some of your friends are saying hi. Mackenzie and Janelle.
Oh.
You can say hi.
Hello.
Okay, good. I'm going to give you a little more time because I know sometimes it takes a little while to do a good drawing, so I get it. Great. Okay, good. Why don't you, there's a lot of people on this webinar. We have almost 40 people, which is awesome. Just so I have an idea if you're almost done, will you just type into the Q&A that you're done so that I know, and then we'll move on to the next thing, okay? And then if you have, while we're waiting for anybody else, if you have completed and you want to ask me a question, you can. I will answer one I saw a couple times. We're not actually baking today. We're doing some learning about baking, how to measure things properly, that kind of thing, before we start doing any kind of baking. Okay, good. More people done? Good. Okay, gotcha. Great. Good, good, good. Are you done, Oms?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what you did. Let's take a look.
Here.
Oh, nice. Okay, what was that she made, everyone? I'm sure you can tell, especially because she wrote on it. It says cookie. So she likes to bake cookies. I love to bake cookies too. Okay, all right, good. So let's move on to the next part. Okay, so ingredients. And oh, by the way, I just want to say really quickly, if you're not done, you can always finish your drawing after we're done with the webinar. I just want to make sure we get through everything so you get a chance to actually do some things today. Okay, so ingredients. To bake a cake, you need flour, water, sugar, eggs, and other things. These things get mixed together, then baked to make the cake. They are the ingredients of the cake. In baking, ingredients are anything that get mixed together to make something that can be baked and eaten. So it talks about, like flour, water, sugar, eggs, but you could also put meat. You could put potatoes, you could put cheese, you could put tomatoes, lots of other things could be ingredients. Like meat pies are really good. Cheese and onion pies, those are delicious. So it doesn't always have to be a sweet thing. Okay, so now what we want you to do is go find some ingredients in your kitchen. Amelie's gonna go find some, you find some, and enter into the Q&A what you found. I'd like to, and let's see if you can find something that's really interesting, not what people would normally put in for baking, and then tell me what it is, okay? Let's check it out. Okay. What did you find, Ons?
I found cornstarch.
Okay, good. So she found cornstarch. That's used in baking and in cooking. What else? We'll find something else. Let's see what else everybody has said here.
Sugar.
Okay. Salt, pineapple. Okay, pineapple. That's a good one. Empanadas. Okay. Oats. Black truffle salt. Okay, that's a good one. I like that one. Oreos and Nutella. These are all good. Chocolate chips. Yep, okay. Guar gum. Yes, that would be definitely an unusual one. What do you use that for? I'm not even totally sure. Isn't that kind of like cornstarch? Is that not what you use it for? Flour, baking sugar, baking powder, grape baking powder, papaya, monk fruit. Yes, those are all good. Okay, great.
Oh, some reason.
Yeah. Okay, flour food. Okay, Worcester sauce. Good. Lime, sugar gummy worms. Wow, guys, you're finding lots of different things. Okay, nice. Good.
Yeast, we just use that for bread.
Yeast we just use for bread, exactly. Okay, good. All right. I guess I was wondering about the guar gum, but maybe we'll find out that. Oh, glue things together. Okay, there's the answer. Basically helps glue things together. Okay, cool. All right. So moving on. Some things you need for baking. Okay, so we obviously need ingredients, right? But we also have to have something to mix those in and to bake it in or on. So we're going to talk about those and see what you have in your kitchen too. So there's lots of different things we can use. We can use mixing bowls to mix ingredients in, and they come in many different sizes. What do we have here?
We have a tiny mixing bowl.
Right.
Usually we use these for mixing eggs if we need to.
Okay. What else?
And there's a medium bowl.
And then we've got, I'll hold this one. There's a big one, right? If you have a lot you want to put in there. Okay. And then spoon, forks, and knives are used in baking very much the same way as in eating, for like stirring, picking up food, cutting food, that kind of thing. Cookie tray is a flat tray made of metal, which you put things on, right, before you put them in the oven to bake. And you can put lots of things on there. Biscuits, meat, lots of things can go on there. Here's one of ours. This is a really nice and clean one, but you know what? We use another set of trays that look just like this, but they're kind of all dark now because we've baked so many times. We've baked vegetables on them so many times, so it's actually gotten all dark because it's had a lot of things baking and cooking on it.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a pan. So you see my screen there. It's a pie pan. It says this is a pan used to bake pies in. You want to go grab that one? You can start? Okay. And so that looks a little bit different than a cake pan. So show like the pie. So that's a pie pan, right?
Usually
pie pan.
Glass, I think.
So sometimes they're tin, especially when you go to restaurants and you, like if you bought a pie from a restaurant, they're often in a tin pan, a metal pan. Cake pan, Ons. This is a round pan, which cakes are baked in, right? And those come in lots of different sizes. And then even meatloaf pans are pans you can bake meatloaf in, but you can also bake bread in them. You can bake a special pound cake. If you've ever made pound cake, that is often made in the loaf pan.
We have a small one.
Yes, it's like a teeny weeny one. And then, of course, one of the most important things, of course, you need to bake it in something, but one of the most important things is a pot holder or an oven mitt. You got to get your stuff out of the oven, and you're not going to be using your hands like that.
Here is the mitt.
There's an oven mitt.
And this is one I made, a pot holder.
Yeah, we use that. And then this is, not everybody has this, but this is a cooling rack. And this is really handy to have when you're baking because I don't know if you knew this, but when you take something out of the oven, you set it down on the counter, depending on what kind of counter you have, it can damage the counter, but also it doesn't allow air to come from underneath and it takes longer to cool it. So sometimes it even bakes it a little bit more. So this is a good thing to put your cookie tray or your pie or your cake on when you are done taking out of the oven. Okay. So before we go to this one, actually, so let's leave that for right now. Okay, so before we move to measuring cups, what I'd like you to do is go around your kitchen and find some of those things that I just showed. Like, do you have the meatloaf pan? Do you have a cookie tray? Find some of those and type it into the Q&A for me. I'm gonna look. It's already, okay. Lentils, yeah, chocolate chips, right. Ooh, fondant. I just saw that from ingredients. That is good stuff. I love fondant. Okay. Oh, nice. I see that you made a pot holder at a birthday party. That's cool. Great. Oh, that's good. Okay, so somebody said that they have everything that we listed. That's great. Lots of cookie trays. Great. You have everything. Awesome. Good. Okay. Anybody else? Cooking trays? Yeah. Okay, is there what else do we have that we use for baking?
Ingredients?
Well, you know what? Sometimes we use, lots of people are saying cookie trays, oven mitt, cupcake tins. Yes, that's a good one. Cupcake tins. We didn't show that, but we do have cupcake tins. And food processor. Good. Yeah. Okay, good. Those are all good things. You're right. I was just going to, I'm going to show you one other thing. One second. So sometimes you might see, if you ever watch any kind of cooking shows, you might see there's some of the really good cooks will just use their towel and they'll take stuff out that way too. I do that sometimes, but sometimes I get a little nervous, so I just use the oven mitts because I don't want to burn my hands. So, but this is often used too. So that's a tool as well. Okay, so we're gonna move to the next part. Let me just quickly see if anybody else said pot holder. Yeah, rubber spatula is good. That absolutely. Oven mitts, whisk, yep. Blender. Okay, great. Okay, excellent. So next part is about measuring cups and spoons. So let's talk about that, and then we're going to start measuring. So measuring is finding the size or amount of something, right? You can measure in other things than just baking. When you bake, you first mix some ingredients together. The right amount of each ingredient must be used. Imagine if you made chocolate milk and mixed the whole can of chocolate with a glass of milk. Ew, that's a little sweet. It's not the right amount of chocolate, it wouldn't taste good. But the other side of it is sometimes you could take like cocoa, you can mix cocoa and sugar and milk to make the chocolate milk. And if you just put cocoa and no sugar or too much cocoa, oh boy, that would also be not good. It'd be really unsweet. So you need to use the right amount of each ingredient. And there's a way to measure ingredients so you get the right amount. Special cups and spoons of certain sizes, do you want to get those on?
Sure.
Are called measuring cups and measuring spoons. And they come in certain sizes, and I'm sure you have them there too. And they have numbers printed on them, which tells their size. So you want to show some? You've got.
Yes. We have 1 cup.
Yep, we've got a cup. We've got some spoons here. Some of these. We also have them in metal.
Yes.
So suppose you're measuring flour and you need 1 cup. Then you simply fill the 1 cup measuring cup with flour and you have the right amount. If you need half a cup of flour, you fill the half cup measuring cup and you have half a cup of flour. Same idea. If you have a 1/3 cup, you'd use a 1/3 cup. And if you have a 1/4 cup, you use a 1/4 cup. So they will come in all of those different measurements, like 1/4 cup, 1/3 cup, half a cup, 1 cup. Yeah. And you can use them to measure lots of different things. And some measuring cups look like the one that you see in the screen. You want to grab one of those? So when you use this kind of measuring cup, you just fill up to the line, which has the number that names the amount that you want. So if you need half a cup of flour, you just put the flour up to the line with a half in it. Now I'm going to give you a little tip. This is actually not great for measuring solid ingredients like flour, baking powder. This is best for liquids. This one is good to measure with solids like flour, okay? So it's not going to be the end of the world if you use this, but it's better to use the other ones. Okay, so now just continuing, you have the amount you need, you just check on the line. And if you need a cup of flour, you fill the measuring cup like up to there, right, to 1 cup. You can't really see it, 1 cup. And measuring spoons are used to measure smaller amounts of ingredients. So we were talking about that, right? Measuring spoons come in different sizes. Sometimes you can get sets that have lots and lots of different ones, all the way down to like 1/8 a teaspoon. But I think this one,
we
we're
actually
missing
have
it.
an 1/8 teaspoon.
Do we? Oh, okay. So right now we just have a tablespoon, a 1/4 teaspoon, and 1 teaspoon in the plastic ones here. And you can use, maybe you use measuring spoons much the same the way you use measuring cups. Same idea. You fill 1 tablespoon. If you need a tablespoon of flour, you'll fill the tablespoon measuring spoon with flour, and then you have the right amount. If you need a teaspoon, you do the same thing.
Yes.
Okay.
And the 1/8 looks like this. It's very small.
Okay, yeah, very small. When you fill a measuring cup, so this is the part we're going to be practicing here in just a second. And if you want to listen to me and collect these materials so that we can start this together, go ahead. But you should have a bowl, flour, and the measuring cups and spoons out, okay? So I'm going to finish reading this, and then we're going to actually do it. So it says, when you fill a measuring cup or spoon, usually the ingredient you're measuring shouldn't go over the top. So you can see the picture. If it went over the top, you'd have too much. If the recipe says, give me, mix 1/2 cup of flour, and then it's like this, well, that's way more. It's too much. And if you're making cookies or a cake, it'll end up being too dry. So you want to make sure you have it right. So the question is, how do you do that? And we're going to go over that in a second. So only if somebody says in their recipe, or if you're talking with them and they say, hey, I have a great recipe for something, but you need a rounded cup, then you could have it be a little bit like that. Sometimes you'll see in recipes, it'll say heaping cup, means the same thing, just kind of piled up there. And if you need just 1/2 cup, what you do is you fill the cup up. Ami's gonna do it here in just a second. You fill the cup up, and then you have to take some of the flour away. Can you get the knife, please? Yes. And the bowl with the flour. So you take, do you want to do it? You can just show it right now.
Sure.
Okay. So you take, we're going to go onto the main screen so you can see. Okay. So what you do is you take the measuring cup. Go ahead, Oms. Take the measuring cup and show with the, yeah, that's fine. Show how you use the knife to level it.
Okay.
So what you do is you basically just take the knife, and then you run the straight part of the knife, not the sharp part, but the straight part across it like that, and it levels it out. See? Perfect. And then now you've got an exact amount rather than like a heaping or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to have you find those measuring cups and measuring spoons if you haven't done that yet. Look at the different sizes so you do the right size, because we're about to start measuring, okay? So I'm going to give you like 1 minute to do that, okay? And I'm going to check some questions here just in case there's questions.
There are.
Okay, nice. Okay, great. Okay, you have a 1/2 cup, 1 cup, 2/3 a cup, 1 teaspoon, 1/4 teaspoon. Nice. Great. Okay, awesome. Okay, great. Did I get to everybody? I think so. Okay, 1/3, okay. 1/2, good. Okay, good. All right. So I realize for this next step, you may not have all of the, if you don't have all of the measuring cups that you need for what we're about to do, or spoons, just do the ones you can. That's fine. Yes. So the next thing is we're going to do this. You're going to measure out each of the following: 1 cup of flour, 1/2 cup of flour, tablespoon of flour, teaspoon of flour, and 1 rounded teaspoon of flour, okay? And when you need to do it, which would probably be for those first 4, you're going to want to level the amount that you are measuring using that knife, but do it over either the flour, your flour bag, or over the bowl so you don't make a mess, okay? Let's do it. So 1 cup of flour is first. Here, Ami's going to go ahead and do it. You can get the new bat flour.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Like this. Like this. There you go.
All right. 1 cup of flour. Oh, and usually If we can't fit the 1 cup in there, we usually use 2 half a cups. If we can't really get all the flour.
Oh, yeah, she's talking about sometimes like in the bag, if you're getting the flour out of the bag, sometimes it's easier just to use the half a cup measure twice than it is to use the whole big cup because it's a little tricky sometimes to get it. Oh, you got it this time. Okay, so let's see how she does. Let's see if she doesn't spill. That's the whole thing. Don't spill.
But I am great at spilling stuff, so.
All right, not too shabby, Moms.
Not too bad.
Okay, so put it in this one. Actually, put it in this one. Okay, good. So she did 1 cup. I'm going to keep it on here because I can tell you what the next one is. Do half a cup now, if you haven't already. Probably some of you are ahead of us. I bet you. I'll see. Let's see. Okay, good. Nice.
So, should I just put the flour in here?
Okay, is everybody working on this?
Okay.
Looks like some of you are working on it.
This sounds really fun.
Okay.
All right.
How are we doing here? All right, why don't you go for the half cup now? Let's do measure half a cup.
So we'll put in half a cup. Again, we need to use the knife. Hopefully I don't spill.
Okay. Perfect. Very good.
We put it in the
Yep.
All right.
Okay, now we're moving to tablespoons. So 1 tablespoon of flour.
All right.
Same idea.
1 tablespoon.
See if there's any more questions here.
Okay.
Good. Okay, good.
Okay.
How's everybody doing with this? Are you spilling? Are you able to keep the flour in the bowl? How's it going?
And usually recipes don't use just a tablespoon of flour, but
Sometimes.
really?
Yeah, it just depends on what you're making. But in baking, that's true.
Should I put it in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I put it in a tablespoon. Flour.
Okay.
All right, so what's the next one to do?
Okay, good. We're going to move on to the next part, okay? 1 teaspoon. That should be pretty easy.
1 teaspoon.
Okay, do 1 teaspoon.
All right.
1 teaspoon. Awesome. Great. And now this is a different one. This is 1 rounded teaspoon.
Yes.
So we don't even need the knife.
Yes.
You can get rid of the knife now. Okay, awesome. That's very good. Okay, why don't you let me know if you finish doing that, and then we'll move on to the next thing, which is learning about mixers, and then we're going to be whisking some ingredients together. Okay. Ooh, let's see who's done. Okay. Okay, who's done? How are we doing here? I'll give you a little bit more time. I'm assuming that everybody's probably pretty close to being done. And then we're going to go to the next part, okay? Okay, good. All right, done. Excellent. Okay. Okay, awesome.
I think we might be done.
Okay,
right.
Fair enough.
Let's do the next.
Okay, so next part is mixers. Okay, mixers are a baker's best friend. These are mixers. So this is kind of funny. If you look at the picture there, it shows a hand mixer. I don't know who has a hand mixer anymore. I don't think I've ever gotten one ever. Maybe when I was a kid, I used one, but we do have an electric hand mixer and the electric mixer. You can kind of see them back here. So there's she's showing that's the electric hand mixer.
It has to be plugged in.
Right?
Like
has to be plugged in. And then the other electric mixers in the back there.
Yes.
So they're used to stir ingredients together or to mix them. Mixers help you mix things faster and definitely faster than just a spoon, especially if you have something like bread that really has to be mixed or they call it kneading it really well. It's much better to have a mixer if you do have one. A hand mixer works by turning the handle around. You go like this, like I would show you if I had them, I don't. So it's like this, like that. Kind of like the old pencil sharpener. So you go around and around when you sharpen a pencil.
Or the windows of cars.
Right, yeah. Turning the handle around makes the beater go around and mix ingredients. Mixers that have a cord, like the ones that Ami showed you, plug into the wall, and they're called electric mixers. And obviously they have to be plugged in to work, right? And you hold the electric mixer in your hand. You don't need to hold the other electric mixer. So the one, I'm just gonna go over here really fast. And we're going to go look at it really quickly. So over here is the electric mixer. This one, you don't need to hold it. You just turn it on. It has knobs here. You can lift it up to put ingredients in, and then there's attachments here, like to whisk or to beat or to mix or whatever.
For bread, there's a hook.
That's right, there's a hook. And you put the ingredients in the bowl, you put this down, and then you just turn it on. There you go. That's how that works. I bet you several of you have that kind of a mixer too. So we have that. And yeah, we talked about that. Oh, so another point, the beaters that go into that mixer are really strong, that beat it or whisk it, and they can hurt your hands if you get caught in them. So just a safety point, if you're like, ooh, that looks really good, I'd like to taste that, don't do that while we're going. You turn it off first. Or if something isn't mixing properly in there and you want to use like a spatula like this, to mix it or get it off of the bowl, turn it off, put the thing back up, and then do that. And so just to be safe when you're baking. If you have very runny ingredients and you turn the mixer on so the beaters go very fast, this is definitely something that happens, and we've experienced this. The ingredients will fly off of those beaters and out of the bowl. So the trick is, and this is the case with dry ingredients. It's the case with if you have a lot of stuff in there. It's the case if you've got the liquid that's very runny, like it was saying. You turn the mixer on slowly at first. Let it start mixing everything in, and then you can start going a bit faster. And the same thing too here, it says when the ingredients are all mixed, you turn the mixer off and wait for the beater to stop before you take it out of the bowl. That's also a safety thing. Otherwise, that's not safe. And also what will happen is if those beaters are still going, flies everywhere. Not fun. And then you have to clean it up. So that's not very fun. Okay. So for washing, the beaters come out of the electric mixer. You want to bring that one over? Sure. There are different ways to get the beaters out. The best thing to do is ask somebody who knows how to work the mixer, but I bet you guys could do it. So here's the mixer. There's a little, they'll have like something that says eject or a little button, and you just go, bam, out they go. And then you can just wash them with hot soapy water.
We have a little lever thing right here.
It's a little lever.
If you can see it.
Yeah. Okay, good. You want to put that one back? So after you've mixed ingredients together, after we've done all of that, that's a batter. So you have cake batter, cookie batter, and that batter is then poured into a pan or a cookie sheet and then baked. And it can be used for biscuits, cakes, cookies, whatever. Now, another tool, and the tool we're going to be using today, is called a whisk. Do you want to get the whisk? Okay.
I think most of you know.
Oh, there it is. There's the whisk. Okay, it's called a whisk. And it looks like that. You use it sometimes when mixing very runny ingredients.
Like eggs.
Like eggs, exactly. Yeah, I mean, if you're just making eggs, maybe to do scrambled eggs or something, whisks are great for that. You don't want to spend the time putting it in a mixing bowl, because then you have to clean that mixer with the mixing bowl and the beaters, and that's just a waste of time. You just use the whisk. So the way that whisks work is you hold the handle and you move the whisk rapidly in the ingredients, so quickly, right, to mix them together in the bowl. So we're gonna do that now, okay? I want you to go get a whisk and a bowl. But pour 1 cup of flour, so you can practice also doing your leveling thing. Pour 1 cup of flour into the bowl and 1 cup of water into the bowl, and practice mixing with your whisk, but don't go too fast or that flour and water might go flying everywhere, all right? So we're gonna do that now here too. And then let us know when you're done, and let us know if you were successful or if some of it spilled or if you have a huge mess. Hopefully you don't. Okay, so let's do, I'm just gonna get a paper towel here.
Because nobody likes messes to clean up.
Nobody likes messes to clean up, yeah. I mean, you have to clean up anyway after baking, right? That's a rule that we're gonna go over later when we get closer to baking. But,
yeah.
Okay, so go ahead. So go ahead and do the 1 cup.
Okay.
Measure a cup.
Should we put it down?
Yes, do it now. Oh, okay, yes, she's right. You can't see, so I'm going to put that there so you can see what she's doing.
Okay, 1 cup of flour. If I can't fit it, I was lucky last time. If I can't fit it, I'm going to, oh, I'm lucky again. Great.
Nice.
Now, I use my knife. Okay. I'm going to put it in the bowl.
Oh, okay, cool. That's nice.
And how much water? A cup? Yes, 1 cup of water into the bowl.
Okay.
Okay. Now, we are going to whisk it.
Okay, and I see some of the answers here about like some people only have a whisk. That's cool. Some people just have, or they have a mixer and it's like mine. I heard someone said that theirs is red. That's really cool. So, oh, Anna, you did pretty well, actually. I'm gonna let you guys see what she did. And I'd like to know how everybody else is doing too. Okay, so there she is. She just did a 1 cup of flour and 1 cup of water. You wanna show your goopy mess?
It probably won't taste as great as it looks. You might be like, oh, it looks like pancake batter, so it might taste like pancake batter, but
yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm betting it doesn't taste very good. That would be my guess.
It's still on.
Okay, all right, let's see. How's everybody doing there? Okay, good. Awesome. All right. Okay, great. So we're going to go to the our last slide, which actually is talking a little bit about what we're going to be doing for next Friday.
Yes.
So a lot of people ask me, so I'm just going to say it right now. A lot of people ask me, are we baking anything today? Are we baking anything today? No. Why are we not baking anything today? Because we had to learn some rules about measuring, how to do it. And also the webinar is only 45 minutes. So we wouldn't be able to actually bake something today and get it all done. We're learning how to do all of this, and then and some like tips and tricks and everything. And then the third webinar is where we're actually going to be baking something.
Yes.
If you want to be baking something, I just want to say you need to make sure that somebody is there, a parent is there to help supervise, because you have to have access to the oven.
Yes.
And you also don't have to do it either. If you want to just follow along, you're going to get the recipe for what we're baking on that third webinar, third online class. So we will be doing that. And next week we're going to be learning about, I'm going to show you right now, we're going to be learning about how to bake in an oven. So how to set the temperature in an oven, how to do that correctly, when you would put something into the oven, what recipes are, like what are they, how do you use them, how to crack eggs, what are really common ingredients, and a few more things to know about in baking.
Yes, and for using the oven, I did feel a little bit, when I first started using the oven, I did feel a little bit like, ooh, I'm gonna get burnt. But if you use gloves, like if you, like what we showed you, the oven mitt,
yeah,
then
Okay, good. All right, great. So I'm going to go back to this screen to see if anybody has any questions for me. Let's see. Okay. Someone asked me what I'm going to be baking. I'm not going to tell you. It's a surprise. But I had to pick something. Well, I wanted to pick something that was on the baking course because all of you got, when you registered, a link in the email that your mom received or you received to a free download of this course. And it has several recipes that you could follow step by step. And one of them is the one we're going to do, but I'm not going to tell you right now. Yeah, somebody's saying what it is. Okay. Yes, someone asked, are we going to post all the baking classes on YouTube? Yep, absolutely. What else? I will let you know. Another person asked, what ingredients do we need for the baking? I will let you know ahead of time what you need. Again, I'm gonna say it one more time. When we do that baking, where we actually do the baking, which is going to be the online third class. So we're on the first one now. So part 3, you are going to need to have a parent present because we will be using the oven, and I want to make sure that there's somebody there to help you if you need it, because I can't help you from my kitchen.
Yes, someone asked what ingredients do we need for the baking?
Yeah, I will tell you I'll put some instructions in for that class, the third class, so that you have the right things. But I'm trying to keep it a surprise what we're going to be making, okay?
Yes.
You know what? Honestly, by the time you get the third, the information about that third webinar, you're probably going to have a good idea, but I don't really want to tell you.
Yeah. Want it to be a surprise.
Let's see. Okay, all right, well, good. Someone says they're going to try to make something out of the water and flour. Good for you. Go for it.
Okay.
And let's see. Okay, good. Someone else say that. Great. Okay. Okay, awesome. Okay, everybody. Well, I enjoyed doing this. I enjoyed being in our kitchen, sharing our kitchen, and also hopefully you had fun in your kitchen, and we will see you next week. And we have 2 more, so we'll do one next week, and then we'll do one the third week. And everybody have a great weekend. And if any mothers are watching, happy Mother's Day. Have a really great Mother's Day. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.